of two Atlanta teens last summer on a violent street gang in our community. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News at 5. I'm Tom Haynes.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Just hours ago, APD announced they now have charged 7 people with the murders. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert is live at Atlanta Police Headquarters to tell us what we're finding out. Tyler?
Yeah, Courtney, good evening to you. Investigators say two 13-year-olds were innocent victims caught in a gang retaliation shooting while celebrating a birthday.
The overall theme of this case is grown men playing gangster.
Atlanta police say these are the innocent faces of gang violence in Atlanta. Two of them, 13-year-old boys Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman, were killed. And 11-year-old Dontavius Davis was wounded last July in a shooting on Spark Street. APD says Freeman was killed on his 13th birthday.
Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes before gang violence ultimately took his life.
During an afternoon news conference, investigators blamed the deadly shooting on a local rapper. They said the attack was in retaliation for the rapper entering a rival gang's territory to film a music video.
In the subsequent days, we saw homicides and shootings, and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions, and you know who you are.
Authorities say a high-ranking member of the Goodfellas gang who was incarcerated orchestrated the attack using a smuggled cell phone. Following those instructions, the suspects opened fire at an apartment complex where the 3 young teens were gathered to celebrate Freeman's birthday. Police say they weren't the targets.
These kids were innocent victims. So when we talk about the gang involvement, these 2 13-year-olds and this 11-year-old, they didn't have a gang involvement.
Those arrested were identified as Keontae Sanders, Richard Hollis, Reginald Thomas, DeKeithion Mobley, Marcus Crawford, Tradon Crawford, and Allie Caldwell. The final 2 were arrested Tuesday. Police had some tough talk for those responsible.
Goodfellas Criminal Street Gang being one of the most hyper-violent gangs in the city of Atlanta, and we will pursue you relentlessly in making sure that we keep this city safe and suppressing violence.
And the investigation continues. There is a $50,000 reward for information about this case. We're live in downtown Atlanta tonight. Tyler Fingert, Fox.
Step closer to justice. Now at 7, a step closer to justice tonight for 2 13-year-olds killed in Atlanta's Oakland City neighborhood last July. Atlanta police just arrested 7 people. Here they are in connection with that shooting that left those teens dead. Atlanta News First Joshua Skinner is in Southwest Atlanta, where police say this may have stemmed from an incident during a rap music video.
Atlanta police announced today that 7 arrests have been made in the July 2024 shootings of 13-year-olds Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman. Police say the 2 teens were simply bystanders in a turf war over a rap music video being shot in a rival gang's territory. They say the shooting was a hit gone wrong that was ordered by a high-ranking member of the Goodfellas gang from an illegally obtained phone at Hancock State Prison. Davis, Freeman, and 11-year-old Dontavius Davis were all shot outside the apartment after midnight as they celebrated Freeman's 13th birthday. Over the past 6 months, police have been making arrests, and those arrests were identified today as Richard Hollis, Ollie Caldwell, Reginald Thomas, Marcus Crawford, Keontae Sanders, DeKeithion Mabel, and Tradon Crawford. Atlanta PD's gangs unit did the brunt of the work on the case and threw out a terse promise to that rapper.
You know who you are. And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible.
Police did not identify the rapper who was involved in the shooting. However, the police affidavit says that rapper Lil Baby was shooting a music video here the night of the shooting.
Developing story, Atlanta police are investigating after someone started shooting on the set of a music video. The shooting happened in northwest part of the city, and it took place while rapper Lil Baby was close by. 11 Alive's Bobeth Yates is live for us from APD headquarters with more on this investigation. Bobeth, you know, if you hear a big rapper like Lil Baby shooting a video, it's going to be a big scene.
That's exactly right. And the residents we spoke to this morning say they were so excited to see Grammy Award-winning Lil Baby. But they say that excitement really quickly turned into fear when what they believe was a drive-by shooting occurred. And now Atlanta PD is investigating.
That happened, it was just too much for me.
Residents in the Dixie Hills neighborhood say Tuesday's shooting on Verbranda Street that occurred on the set of a music video featuring popular Atlanta rapper Lil Baby has them on edge.
We just heard pow, 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 and that thing over, da-da-da-da-da-da, and we grabbed the kids, and everybody was just running. It was a whole bunch of chaos.
The Atlanta Police Department's Violent Crime Unit is now investigating the incident that left 3 people shot. Officials say one person was hit in the arm, another in the neck, and a third in the back. And while all are expected to survive, police say the shooting may be part of a bigger problem with gang activity.
Several of the individuals in the city that are involved in some of these hybrid rap performance groups are involved in certain conflicts throughout the city. So us as a city of Atlanta, we do want to be proactive in making sure that our gang unit is on scene and at the on front of any potential matters that could escalate as a result of a shooting of this nature.
Woke Folks says children and other bystanders were also on scene of the music video when the about 30 shots rang out. And as police try to piece together who's responsible and what led up to the shooting, neighbors we spoke to say the violence is getting out of hand.
It's ridiculous that you can't come outside and have a good time or show some love in the neighborhood because you always want to argue, fight, and shoot and kill, and that's a problem. They need to take the damn guns off the street. This the biggest problem.
Black on black crime, man.
Now, APD tells me their investigation is still ongoing, so they cannot provide additional details. But they say anyone with information that can lead to an arrest should give them a call at Crime Stoppers. That number, 44577-TIPS. In Atlanta, Bobeth Yates, 11.
Gun smoke, we don't do no talking. We just up the stove for the all. He keep doing that popping. We gon' cut it slow. I gun talk, stick talk, blick talk, leg talk, top of walk. He can't walk. Fuck that boy, walk it off. Dead man, gets to get ready to talk to me. I talk a lot. You said who? Fuck who?
More than a half dozen alleged gang members are charged in the shooting deaths of 2 13-year-old children and wounding an 11-year-old.
We obtained the arrest warrant. It states the string of homicides started with a shooting and a Lil Baby rap video. Investigators say the gunfire that resulted in the children's deaths was a gang retaliation orchestrated by phone by someone behind bars.
What's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/hookah_anonymous. You guys have been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind-the-scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at hookah_anonymous and follow us there. Now, without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, I don't know what it is with Lil Baby, but he's been doing good lately. But if he isn't careful, everything he done worked so hard for could possibly go down the drain. Now, I say this because it seems like no matter how much he seemed like he going in the right direction or talk like he knows better than to do certain things, trouble seems to always find him no matter where he goes, whether it's him himself or someone he's affiliated with. As y'all know, Lil Baby has ditched the 4PF brand and started a new label called Can't Be F With Records. Many believe this was done to detach Lil Baby from all the street situations that was happening in Atlanta that branched off the 4PF tree. For y'all that don't know, it's a couple of Lil Baby affiliated people locked up right now for serious crimes, all which claim 4PF. 3 of them happen to be 4PF Dirty Tay, 4PF Day Day, and 4PF Nate, and that's just the 4PF members that we know of. A lot of people don't know that there's a lot of 4PF members who are also older that the world don't get to see, and then there's others who don't rap but are affiliated with them streetwise. If y'all remember, the mayor of Atlanta claimed it was a lot more Ricos to hit Atlanta after Young Thug's YSL camp was hit with one. No one knew what she was referring to, but it was a list that surfaced on social media that consisted of all the gangs who were allegedly on the feds' radar. Four Pocket Full, aka 4PF, was at the top of that list. Now we're not sure how accurate that list was or if it was even real, but I guess Lil Baby wasn't taking any chances and he decided to separate himself altogether. He made it very clear during his interview with Lil Yachty when he would explain that he'll be a fool to see other rappers getting indicted in RICOs for just being the artist of the group making money and not learn from their mistakes. So he switched it up. This is a comment that many believe he was referring to Lil Durk after Durk was picked up for his alleged role in the passing of Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pab and charged with M for hire after being accused of orchestrating the hit on Quando Rondo. Now, smart move by Lil Baby, because if you know anything about Atlanta politics, you know 4PF is definitely brought up and a lot going on when it comes to the streets. And if he's trying to avoid jail, Baby's best bet will be disassociating himself with the streets, period, or else. However, it seems like he found himself in the hot water regardless, after being accused of being the reason behind two children no longer being here today. Two kids will lose their lives to gun violence, and although we know a lot of these kids have been out here taking each other's lives because they're involved in the streets, witnesses say that that wasn't the reason. It's reported that they actually weren't in the streets at all, and instead, they were hit because they were two kids that just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, according to news reports in the Atlanta Police Department, they're blaming Lil Baby and plan to hold him accountable. Check this out.
These individuals that we have shown indiscriminately opened fire on that apartment complex, resulting in these three children getting injured and killed.
Police say the 7 men arrested are gang members who were in the midst of a turf rivalry when they shot and killed. Members who were in the midst of a turf rivalry when they shot and killed two 13-year-old children, including Lamont Freeman, as they celebrated his birthday July 2nd.
The overall theme of this case is grown men playing gangster that left two of our children in graves and a community in fear.
Investigators say the gang rivalry that led up to the shooting was sparked by an Atlanta-based rapper.
Decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been. And in the subsequent days, we saw homicides and shooting.
Now, back in July of 2024, police say that two teens who go by the name Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman were shot and unalive while celebrating Freeman's 14th birthday. They say another kid who was a younger brother of Jacody Davis, who was 11 years old, was also shot, but he's expected to survive. Now, according to reports, they say that both of the teens were celebrating Lamont Freeman's birthday on July 2nd, 2024, when shots rang out at Spark Street located in southwest Atlanta. 7 suspects will pull up to the apartment complex and begin shooting and hit 3 children. It's no word if their intended targets were hit or if there was even any targets at all, but it's only been said that 3 children were struck by bullets. The 7 suspects who go by the names Quayonte Sanders, Richard Hollis, Reginald Thomas, the Keithion Mobley, Marcus Crawford, Traden Crawford, and Ali Caldwell. It's also noted that Marcus Crawford and Traden Crawford are actually brothers. Now, at first, there was no clear motive behind what happened, but according to a witness, it said that Lil Baby decided to go to his ops neighborhood in May of last year to shoot a music video in the northwest area of Atlanta. As a result of that, 3 people were shot while he was filming the music video as well. Law enforcement believes that also in retaliation of the music video being shot in their territory, a man who is currently incarcerated in Hayes State Prison and a high-ranking member of the Goodfellas Atlanta gang was the one that orchestrated both of the shootings. Now, Lil Baby has to be very careful because it seems like they're trying to target him more than the actual shooter. This is another headache that he doesn't need, and the Atlanta police chief during the conference was adamant about making sure Lil Baby is held liable. Now, some people feel that this isn't fair, and at first I was too, and I still a bit am. I get what police is saying, but there's no way that they're trying to charge him or hold him responsible for a shooting that took place as if he or anybody he was with was the ones that fired the firearm. It was someone else. However, the point police are trying to make is that Lil Baby is the one that antagonized the shooting and is the reason behind it because he knew that it was the ops neighborhood and he still purposely went because he was trying to prove a point. They called him a coward and said the kid's passing was a result of his actions and now 2 teens are no longer here. So once again, I understand their point. However, I don't think a charge was thick enough to charge him for it. I'm sure he could say that he didn't know it was his ops neighborhood because he's a rapper and he don't got any ops, right? He could play dumb or something, but I don't know. What I do know is, though, Lil Baby has to be very careful in Atlanta, period, because I've noticed something, and it seems like it may be a big investigation going on concerning Lil Baby. If you pay attention to all the articles and news clips, the police made it very clear and made it their business to call him an Atlanta rapper and said, you know who you are. Now, I seen in one article that brought up Lil Baby's name followed by a blog post, but the officers themselves during the conference didn't bring up Baby's name. Now, usually when they do that, at least from my experience and seeing situations with others, they refuse to include the suspect's name because they don't want them to get nervous and flee somewhere because there's a big investigation going on behind the scenes. Now, like I said, I could be wrong, but just from seeing things happen in the past where they start redacting names or not saying anything, it's usually something bigger transpiring behind the scenes. I don't know, but it's still a strange situation that they didn't mention his name, but referred to him as an Atlanta rapper. That's just my thoughts on it.